environment. There's no replacement for that. And then, of course, the insecticide-treated nets, indoor spraying, and then all cases should be appropriately managed. We have this rapid diagnostic test as it is now. And, you know, the community diagnosis, this will help us to contain the burden of the disease. And you see, when we talk about this disease, we overlook the economics of the disease. Malaria being the commonest you know, disease in Nigeria and in most developing countries of the world. You see, the man-hour loss, if you don't go to work a day because you are down with malaria, it's a lot of money lost. So we have to look at the economics, and it is that will propel us to be able to ensure that we prevent cases, malaria infection, and also appropriately manage cases that are down with malaria.
If we can't talk about controlling malaria well enough, why should we jump to issues of elimination?
No. You see, the control is a component of elimination. The control is a component of elimination. If you say control, if you have environmental cleanliness, if you use insecticide-treated nets, if you use intermittent preventive treatment of malaria in pregnancy, if the children are treated early enough, and you reduce the burden, and in that case you are controlling the malaria, and eventual determination is elimination. But that burden, the huge burden, the gap is too wide. When we talk about malaria elimination, we are saying that the burden should be less than 3%. But at the moment, it's about 30% in Nigeria. And therefore, you can see where we want to be and where we are at the moment. But with strategic planning and effective implementation, we can get there. Nigeria is a great country, as you would expect. We need to train our people and retrain our people. We need to improve diagnostic ability. And then, of course, we have to continue to provide the insecticide-treated nets. And I must say that providing insecticide-treated nets must be
one thing. What about its
utilization? And one of the problems is, we found this out when I was working in UNICEF in 2003, 2004, that yes, particularly in the Southeast, one of the reasons why they were not using it at the time was that, or using it effectively at the time, was that they felt that it looks like covering or tying a corpse, because it's white, and the culture, so the culturally acceptable program must be put in place. And we found it from research. We wanted to find out why they were not using it. One, they say it was hot, it was creating heat. Two, that the color was white, and in their own culture, it's as if it was they look at it as a resemblance of tiny corpse, a dead body, and therefore they were afraid culturally to use it. And after that,
so we could be talking about having it in other colors.
In fact, it has been other colors. Yes, other colors have been, from the research, we found that other colors have been produced. So one is that we need, and also it is hot, so we need to use largely cotton materials, because the environment is hot. And if you are using preteroid material, it is like nylon, which will be a little bit hot to the body. So we need to be able to evaluate what we are doing. And in doing so, we will find that many more people will begin to use it. So distribution and utilization. Some people they didn't even know how to use it. Therefore, we need to educate them. You know, the impression that because you are carrying it, everybody use it, that is the wrong impression. The environment is important. So people must be educated, people must be trained how to use it. And you use community approach to train people. It's not that you are putting them in the classroom. Once they know that this is effective, can be used, they use it. And of course, when they find that, yes, in using it, they reduce the incidence of malaria, they will even propagate it further. The traditional rulers, the community leaders must be involved in this, because we health practitioners think that once we go to a community and we say they do this, they will do it. No, they have traditional ways of getting their own messages. And it is good to involve the traditional rulers, the community leaders, let them understand. And even given this, we should ensure that the traditional rulers are given first, so that the followers will know that, I'm from my chief, or my Oba, or my Emir is using it. In that case, you find that it will be used, because they do not, many of us, because we live in largely illiterate community, many still depend and follow the traditional ways of doing things.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Don't go away. In a moment, I'll be speaking with the head of the Malaria Research Group here at the Institute, Dr. Samson Awulola. I'll be talking about some of the things that can cause drug resistance when it comes to malaria treatment. Please stay with us. Close to 20 years as a research fellow, Dr. Samson Awulola, the head of Malaria Research Group, has been with the Nigerian Institute for Medical Research here in Lagos. He's been involved in several researches, including the one that determined the ineffectiveness of chloroquine as drug for malaria treatment. The result of that research, coupled with other factors, gave birth to the change in malaria treatment policy in Nigeria. Let's look at drug resistance. What would you say are some of those factors that cause drug resistance when it comes to malaria treatments?
Malaria has been with us for quite a number of years, and such that the people have become so used to malaria. Often you find people referring to it as ordinary malaria or common malaria. And of course, with that kind of attitude, people are so used to the disease, they can resort to self-diagnosis or self-treatment, and so forth. A number of things happens. I know quite well that when someone has malaria these days, he can easily go out for self-treatment, go and buy drugs. What is this drug resistance? It simply means the parasite that the causative agent of malaria, which is the Plasmodium, have become resistant to the drug that we use. And when that happens, it then means that the drug will not be effective against the parasite. And that's the whole lot about drug resistance. Now, in those days, we all know quite well that chloroquine was the drug of choice for malaria. And we have misused the drug. Some people take lower dosage of the drug. When a prescription is made, take this drug this way, and this way, and this way. Take it over 3 days, take it over 4 days, or take it a single dose. You must adhere to this drug regimen. If you don't do that, you are putting a lot of pressure on the drug. And at the end of the day, the drug will not do exactly what it's meant to do. At the end of the day, we have come to realize that when people take the chloroquine, it's no more effective. In addition to that, we also have substandard drugs that cannot meet up with the standard requirement. So at the end of the day, the parasite become resistant to the drug, and that's the problem. That's where the problem lies.
So tell us, what are some of those signs that could tell that a person may be dealing with a drug-resistant malaria?
Well, a number of things happens. We find people that complain about they use the drug and it's not effective. They use the drug and they still have malaria. You use the drug and they come back to the laboratory for test, and you find out that they are what we normally refer to as parasite clearance. When you use the drug, at least the parasite in the bloodstream should be cleared by the drug. You find out that it doesn't happen, and that is at the laboratory level. But at the individual level, someone that is used to the drug realize that, oh, this drug is no more effective. It then means that he might not know that this is a drug resistant. We just, oh, this is a fake drug. I mean, that in the common language, it's a fake drug. It might not be a fake drug. It's the fact that the parasite is resistant to the drug, and therefore the drug is not working.
Your group, what have you found out about resistance when it comes to treatment of malaria in Nigeria?
For now, we don't have resistance to this drug, artemisinin-based combination therapy in Africa. But in some part of the world, in Cambodia, in Southeast Asia, and in those areas, the resistance to ACT has emerged, and which means we have to be careful. So what are we doing? What is Nigerian Institute of Medical Research doing in that aspect? What we do, we are doing what we call surveillance. We are on the surveillance range. We look at, we conduct a study on the field to see what is happening to this drug. So we monitor this, and it's a very expensive research. It's a very expensive research, and therefore government must put money into it, because the institute alone cannot do it. Even with little fund that you receive, we are still able to establish 2 sentinel sites in Nigeria. One in Atijede in Lagos State here, the other one in our outstation in Kanji in Niger State. Those 2 centers are centers that can be used for surveillance, continuous surveillance, because the malaria we have characterized those sites. We know what malaria parasite, the prevalent species is. We know the vector species. We know everything about the human behavior in those areas, and therefore these are classical areas where surveillance can be carried out. And government must put money into this, because if you don't do that, then we are subjecting the drug we are using here to a lot of pressure.
You know, I won't end this show until I serve you nutrition for health tips. Want to know what's up for this week? Take a look. Cucumbers belong to the same plant family as squash, pumpkin, and watermelon. Like watermelon, cucumbers are made up of mostly water, about 95%, which means eating them can help you stay hydrated. However, there are more reasons to eat cucumbers. With vitamin K, B vitamins, copper, potassium, vitamin C, and manganese, cucumbers can help you avoid nutrient deficiencies. Plus, they contain unique polyphenols and other compounds that may help reduce your risk of chronic diseases and much more. It's one of the very low-calorie vegetables, provide just 15 calories per 100 gram. It contains no saturated fats or cholesterol. The silicon and sulfur content in cucumber juice makes it especially helpful in promoting hair growth. Drink it mixed with carrot, lettuce, or spinach juice. You have seen beauty practitioners use slices of cucumber on their eyes. It is found that the caffeic acid in this vegetable helps to prevent water retention, and when applied topically, helps reduce puffy and swollen eyes. To get the best out of cucumbers, choose those that are dark green in color and firm to touch. Avoid those that are yellowish or are wrinkled at either ends. Thinner cucumbers have fewer seeds than those that are thicker. Store cucumbers in the fridge to retain its freshness. Cut cucumbers should be kept wrapped up or in an airtight container and kept in the fridge and consumed within a day or 2. Some people say cucumber goes well with groundnuts. Have you tried it? I'll check out how well that combination tastes, but not until I say thank you so much for staying with us on Health News. Join us again next week. I am Yomi Otaigbe.